here? Yeah. Alright, let me switch this. There we go. Hey everybody, thank you for joining my stream tonight. Um, Continuing with what's been going on this entire week so far, uh, my schedule is completely messed up. Things during the day have overrun, and where I plan on streaming from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. my time, I just can't seem to get here. It's currently 11:30 at night, Thursday night. Uh, can't say for sure what's going to happen with Friday, but if things go well enough, I will be streaming again between 2 and 4 as intended today, or well on Friday, which is still in about 30 minutes from now. But we will see what happens. We are working on the coloring book, the fantasy themed coloring book project, and we're on page 25. Last night we were working on the wizard, and we're gonna finish him up. We've still got his face and the details in his clothing to do, so that's gonna be the focus today. Um, let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Uh, Last night the stream that I did hit 2 viewers, so I just doubled my we call it my audience, which is awesome. Uh, this channel is growing. I'm a new streamer, so uh, if you happen to stop by and you kind of like what you're seeing, do me a favor, give me a follow, so you'll get notified when I do go live. And this channel is going to improve as I continue to figure things out and put little widgets on it and get better at this whole streaming thing. But let's go ahead and get started with the art. So I'm going to go ahead and swap my uh, thing here, and we're now into the drawing panel. So on the left here, I have my reference sheet for my wizard character. On the right, this is the, oops, I'm in text mode. There we go. On the right, we have the coloring book page that we are working on. And we don't need this to be quite so even here. We'll do that. Tonight we're going to be doing the details in the character's costume that are not there yet, and we're going to be putting his face in. I'm going to leave, I think, the magic for later because we've got a lot of other stuff to work on in this scene. So we're going to finish this character up real quick, and hopefully we'll get started on the next character. Alright, so first of all, my wizard has his helmet, or not helmet, his wizard's hat, which has all these little design elements to it. This band that goes right above his um, eyebrows, or across his forehead, I kind of imagine this as some sort of a kind of like an armor band or metal band, uh, where the rest of the helmet or the rest of the hat is more like like your typical cloth wizard's hat. Okay, so I'm just kind of cramming these details in. And let's see, we go to these. That'll do. He's got a star right about here. Alright, why does my star look all goofy? Hold on. Oh boy. So, this is, I don't know. This is the, well, I think this is the third day that I've streamed this week. Yeah, because I had to cancel my Monday stream entirely, and the rest of them I've just kind of been getting to them. Like if I got up a little early at night, I get in here and start streaming. I'm trying to do my stream every day. Okay. I am not liking the way my star is coming together, and I think I know partly why that is. It's the weird angles here. That's a little bit better. But these guys, I think, well, alright. Yeah, that'll do. Alright. And then I've got a diamond that's up there. I'm going to give you just the edge of that right here. So, this is a coloring book project. Basically, we are on page 25 out of 32 pages. Uh, Once all of this is done, I'm going to be making the book available, hopefully in both print and digital formats. But right now, we are just we're working on getting through the pages, and yeah. So this is my first coloring book ever. I had the idea early on this year to do this book, and I figured it would be like a quick project that took, maybe a month or two. And I've been doing like a little bit of work on it, and then pausing while I worked on other things, and then coming back to it, and finally, it's getting towards the end of the year. I said we got to finish this book, so I have decided that this is my final project for the year, or well, hopefully it won't be my final project, but we're gonna work on it until it's actually done. All right, so that's the or the hat. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it a helmet tonight. Let's see, he's got his bracelets, got his clothes there, necklace, and we need to put his face in. So this wizard is a older character. Um, maybe not. It might not be. What do I want to say? Like, I mean, he looks old, but who knows how old he really is? Because magic is special. So, he could be like Merlin, aging backwards, or he could be uh, like super ancient, or he could even be what do you call it? Like not that old, but had some sort of a magical incident that aged him prematurely. All right, so I'm gonna do a kind of thing here. His eyebrows are actually going to be sticking up over his headband a little bit. All right, now I'm just using my eraser to get in there and clear that out a little bit. So once I get done sketching all of these pages, which I did do, anyway, once I get done with sketching all these pages, uh, I will be coming back through and inking or doing a digital ink where we put the final smooth lines on everything. But I did do the inks on the first 20. It's either 20 or 21 pages that I actually did the inks on. But then I decided to focus on one thing at a time, get through the book, and then do the other step. So I am penciling every page of this book to the finish. Then I'll be coming back with the inks, and yeah, hopefully everything will work out real good. Okay, make his eyes a little bit longer. Alrighty. I think I will want to make sure I include his eyelids just a little bit. That might even give him sort of a sleepy look right there, but he's kind of looking out this way. In this particular scene, this is like the big epic final battle, which is going to take up a few more pages of the coloring book. Um, Basically, the good characters have um, chased or tracked their enemy down to the ruins that we're currently in, and they've come to the final room where they've kind of like got the bad guys up against the wall essentially, and so the final battle ensues, and there are skeletons being summoned by the bad guys. The good guys are using all of their abilities to try to combat the situation. And we have this wizard who is literally casting fireballs right now, or some type of fireball or magic spell, to try to destroy as many skeletons as he can. Okay, let's go ahead and get some of these age lines in here. Now, of course, like I said, some of this is going to get cleaned up a lot more once I get to that inking stage, where I can kind of refine everything with where everything has to be done in one stroke, so it's not sketchy at all. But right now, we are finding the lines that we want to keep. Okay, I think I want to curve that out a little bit more. And maybe make the nostril a little smaller. And of course, then this part could come out right there. You'd have this over here. Give them a little bit of possibly a little bit of an aggressive um, open mouth. Well, let's see. Now he just looks like he's smiling. I don't really want to do it quite like that. Don't really want to make him screaming, so I don't think he's going to be quite that. Uh, all right. I don't think he'll be like that. I don't know, concerned or invested or angry at this particular situation. He is an adventurer, And he's an elderly adventurer, which means either he started this thing on some sort of a suicide mission, or he's been doing it for a long time and would be perfectly uh, used to encountering situations like this. Let's try a little something here. Yeah, I think it's that upward angle that I've got going on there that makes it look more like he's smiling, even though he's really not. Well, maybe he was smiling. Makes him feel useful to destroy skeletons with fire and explosions. I think I talked about in the last live stream how wizards might be, in general, um, kind of like a little bit crazy, a little bit unhinged. Always dealing with the arcane arts and seeing things that normal people don't see. I see something I don't like over here. Let me thicken that up a little bit. Maybe thicken that up a little bit too. And we'll come back to the face. Alright, so I think maybe this cheekbone needs to come up a little bit higher. And then this is where his chin is. Okay, we are finding the form of the character here. I think I might have blown that just a bit too far out. Maybe I'm bringing that in too far too. Kind of got to find it right here. Okay, that should probably do. Oops. It's real easy to go just a little too far. Alright. I should clear out some more of this to keep it clean and visible and see what we're doing here. Okay. Alright. So yeah, let's have a little bit more darkness in there. A little bit more right there. Oh, and I'm gonna maybe level out that eyebrow just a little bit. And then over here, this is not reading quite right to me. Okay. Now let's see here. That ear's looking really tough. Like hard. There we go. That's a little bit better. Knock that down just a touch. Now we gotta get his mustache and beard in here because he's looking a little bit older, a little bit wrinkly, but we are kind of lacking. Um, yeah, he doesn't look like the same character really. But part of the thing that I did with this character is I gave him this crazy mustache because I like the idea of wizards being sort of like these flamboyant characters who are kind of like I don't know. Like if you think about how animals, the most colorful animals, are oftentimes the most poisonous. That's kind of how I imagine wizards being. That they make themselves super colorful, super flashy, so that you see them right away, and you say, you know what? I probably don't want to mess with that guy because he's weird, or girl, or whatever. But you know, that's the general thought that I have. That and a general crazy, unhinged demeanor tends to make them amusing, interesting, and dangerous. Okay, so I'm just bringing in the thickness of the mustache here. This huge, long mustache that curves out wildly, and it looks kind of uneven. Let's measure this up. I guess it's not too bad. Oh, it's like way long over here and not so much over here. Let's just shorten this off then. Like right about here. Doesn't really need to be that long. Alright, now it looks okay, I think. And now to put in his little beard. So he's got like this little goatee beard that comes in right here at the center of his lip, almost like a soul patch, except he does still have a full beard. So, uh, as I mentioned yesterday, this character here in color was the first sketch that I ever did of the character before starting this project. I don't even remember what I created the sketch for sure, but it started from the one thing and just kind of evolved over time. So you see his beard comes down out of his chin. It runs. It's a very low-based beard right here, and you've got uh, the main body of it, we'll call it, that actually only runs right about to his chest. Now, in this particular pose, I'm going to take it just slightly below his chest because he is kind of hunched over. So it's just kind of be the way that looks in this scene. Now we're going to clear this out. So a lot of those details in that necklace and stuff we didn't really need. But I do like to usually put that in first so that it is there. And I don't have to try to figure out which parts of it should be visible later when I put this little beard in. Now on the sides of the main part of his beard are these longer, smaller bits, or thinner. Like I said earlier, I try to keep my wizard looking a little bit crazy, a little bit unusual. I'll bring this bit right here. Clean this one out. Alrighty. And let me make sure. Okay, so that will wrap up the wizard for today. As I said earlier, we're going to worry about doing the magic of his fireballs and stuff later on after we get these other characters into the scene. Um, so next, I think we're going to move on to we're going to go right in front of him here, and we are going to put in the Gnome Barbarian. So let me go ahead and we're going to close down that reference sheet. I do need to open up my Gnome Barbarian. Here we go. Side by side view. All right. So let me go ahead and just bring this. Oop, that's way too much. So with the Gnome Barbarian, actually, I'm going to go ahead and undock this. Let me minimize that for now. We're going to talk about the Gnome Barbarian for a second. So this picture down here in the bottom was the first picture that I did of the Gnome Barbarian. And so I was thinking kind of like little tiny guy that's so ripped that it's like insane. And maybe like the Braveheart type face paint on him. And a sword that's so big that it's ridiculous. And of course, all these drawings here are from the coloring book where I've drawn him on different pages based on, at first, this one drawing. Now all the drawings are based together. Let me bring my coloring book back up, put it in there, and I have a feeling it's going to switch sides. Yeah, it did. Okay. Let me... Not sure if it can swap like that. Actually, I think I have to go to this and then go. There we go. All right. So yeah, we're gonna work on the Gnome Barbarian next. And so the first thing we want to keep in mind is that the Gnome Barbarian is 4 heads tall. That's his character height. And I've got this handy dandy little guide over here that I'm using to measure head height, but I did it for that goblin wizard in the background. So if I bring this over, you see that just about lines up with his head height. And it comes to his foot there at the back. That was because the goblin wizard was 4 heads tall too. Now over here, the wizard, he's closer to us in perspective. So my measurement has to be a little bit bigger. And we put this down here. So his head actually ends right about there. But the bottom of his head is down there too. So get this to measure up just about right. Okay. Now the wizard, the human wizard here, he is actually about 7 heads tall or close to it. Sometimes my measurement gets a little bit off when we gotta like do the characters in perspective with different poses, but I do try to keep them pretty close to that. Now, this Gnome Barbarian that I've scribbled in down here at the bottom is also, he's 4 heads tall. He's obviously going to be a lot bigger than that scribble that I put in there, which is going to change a lot of things here. As I go through the drawing, things are going to get changed. That's why I'm doing things on different layers so I can arrange them again. So let me turn that off. And then, actually, I'm going to get rid of that old guide, which is way back there, because we're working in, like, way closer perspective now. And so I'm going to keep this one, but I'm going to duplicate it for my Gnome Barbarian. So we're coming right down here. And we're going to go ahead and say, wherever his feet are going to be at the bottom of this little guide. So we want to make sure we keep him not actually in, like, colliding. Like, we can't put him right there because that's literally where the wizard is. But we can keep things nice and tight over here. So let's put his feet right about here and see how that works. Again, keeping things on different layers throughout this drawing. Uh, I'll be able to move stuff around and finalize the page once all the characters are in place. Okay, so let me slide this guide over to here, though. We're not really changing it, we're just changing where, see, the guy is right here. This is just my guide to do it. All right, so now let me come in here. And we'll go ahead and start with, I don't want this guide to be super dark, so what I'm going to do is turn it down to about 35%. Merge this new layer down on top of it. And so now we can move it around and it's this sort of lighter. This way my pencils that I'm actually drawing in this situation will be darker than the leftover guide. Okay, let me not start with his head. The reason I don't want to start with his head is I kind of want to get his body laid in, figure that part out, and work from there. So being only 4 heads tall as a unit of measurement, we have to cram the whole body into a kind of short space. And in this particular scene, our little Gnome Barbarian is cranking that huge sword up over his head and, like, swinging at an enemy. In fact, who, um, yeah, let's go with, I'm thinking the knee should be like right here, coming forward just a little bit. All right. His foot might actually be like right around there with his calf bent and tucked right there. And then this leg would be more down like so, maybe going back in space, maybe actually more than that. So you might not even see his foot, it might be like way back there. Okay, now let's see. Just kind of building up some of this form. All right. Okay, his pecs are going to be too high up because the way I've got him cranked there, it's just too much. So let's just bring it all down a little bit, like to right here. If I over exaggerate it too much, it'd be like his head's like way back there, like it just fell right off the back of his body. And that would look really weird. So this shouldn't be up there. And we gotta keep in mind his collarbones and his muscles are gonna be kind of tweaking up this way because he's got his great sword that he's trying to swing over his head. And let's go ahead and get that all put together here. So I'm thinking I want to have it this way. Let's see. Okay, right around here, I think. So this would be like one hand, then let's bring this arm more to here. The other hand would be like right here probably. And the sword itself would be traveling about like that. And then, let's see. We might even have to bring his face right over here. We want to make sure his head is about the right size. Okay. And he'd, of course, probably be looking down a bit. Alright, so here's where I think the head is too far over here. Just go ahead and move that real quick. And it might also be that I might have made his shoulders a little too wide. Let's bring it down just a little bit more to overlap with the chest because he's literally leaning forward with his head to get his shoulders back behind his head and looking down this way where he's about to swing the sword. And then, of course, you've got like the massive neck muscles back there. So the shoulders overlap. And this all comes in. Let's see. And then you're going to have here the elbow, the back of the arm. Oh, something's going on. The pen started acting a little weird right there. I think I want to thicken up the character just a bit right there. Alright. So along this, because the way the arm goes up into in this pose, you're mostly going to see the back of the upper arm. You'll see some of the bicep, but mostly you're going to see that rear muscle on the arm that drops down into the elbow. And then the hand over here, that's way too much on the one side. Oh yeah, I'm just splattering meat everywhere here. Okay. Now, we'll get it all here, and then we'll sort it out. Alright, now this arm, you got the same general pose, but now we're looking at it from the other side. So we're going to see, like, the bicep right here, all mashed up and flexed. The back of the arm, and then the ribs would be poking out along here. They're riding down. Muscles and ribs all coming together right here. Abs. Down to the groin. And he's got that standard Conan type or He-Man type, I don't know, furry underwear thing going on. Okay. So I kind of like this pose, but right now I feel like he's not really coming across as the character. He's not, there's, it's like he's still a little bit too big, too tall. I mean, he's pretty close to making it fit. Their forehead's tall, but maybe I need to just kind of fluff this a little bit more with making his head just a little bit bigger. Don't want to do too much. And then, let's see here. All right. So that makes his head just that little tiny bit bigger. And as far as the body goes, see, I just feel like he's maybe not quite as thick as he needs to be. Maybe that did it. Maybe. Okay, I think we're pretty good. And then we got to work on these legs. Figure out how his legs are coming together here. So, first of all, I think I want to twist this knee a little bit, like that, so that it's literally like that's up and down. Fluff the inside of the leg right here a little bit. And then you basically have the calf and the shin all right there bent underneath here. And his foot would, of course, this goes right back over here. The foot would be, if we're going to show it at all, like right here. And then he is like coming in and swinging, so let's see, we need to maintain some semblance of balance. So keep this leg here, but then his knee and his foot. Let's see. We'll put his foot right there. But yeah, so a lot of this is actually, I think it says lower half doesn't look nearly long enough to match his upper half. That's part of what's going on here. So what we'll do is just kind of try to balance it right here. Where is my center? Put it right there. And I'll just stretch this right up here to about there. Okay. So now, let's see. He's still 4 heads tall, but now his hips take place right below the the 2 head line. And I think that's gonna make it work. But I'm not entirely thrilled with the overlap of his legs like this, because I feel like it makes it a little confusing. And maybe this lower part of the leg we don't need quite so much of. Let me clear just all of this out for a second. So, let's see. We can even maybe redo this edge right here. So, let's just say this leg is coming back. This would be where the knee is right here. Yeah, I think this is going to be a little bit tricky. We ran out of space. Okay, so we don't want to put his foot completely side on. We want to have sort of like a 3/4 view of the foot. And as you can see, I've just extended it down here past past the 4 head mark. We're gonna just sort of figure this out real quick, and then maybe I'll tighten everything back up again. Let me go ahead and get rid of this part of the leg, since we know we want to have that leg up in the air probably. Let's just figure out what's going on back here. Alright, so this leg is supposed to be angled back like this. It should be coming from back here. Make my eraser bigger. So I need to get rid of some more of this over here. We'll get rid of that foot. Alright. So let's just try to sort this thing out the best we can. No more crap in the way. So the leg, again, coming back this way. That's the knee. Comes down to here. Foot would be starting here. And we're going to bring it down like this. So let me redo my outer edge here. Alright, the knee is there. Back of the leg is going to come in like right back here. Calf down to ankle, down to heel. Put some thickness to the foot. Extend the toes a little bit more. Alright. So we're just a little bit over on the size right there. And we'll figure that out in a moment. Let's go ahead and worry about his other leg now. So same deal over here. You got, that's the hip joint. Let's see. The knee should be coming in right about here. Let's bring the knee to right here, or even here. So we don't want to overlap him too much. Let's say the knee is right there. This leg is wrapping around right here. And the foot is right here. But it needs to be comparable to the other one. It's actually, it should be closer in distance than that one. Not that we should be dealing with that big of a perspective jump in this one character, but yeah. Alright, cleaning this up a little bit more. So, that's pretty much where we're at right there. And let's see. I think what we're going to do is shorten his abdomen a little bit. Now this time, instead of moving stuff, I'm literally just going to shrink it. So I took that, and we'll move this down to here. And, oh, shoot. I made a mistake. Alright, cancel that. So I grabbed this whole guide over here at the same time. We don't need to change the size of that guide. That's how I know when I'm done with what I'm doing here. Alright, now let's put this down here and bring this we'll actually bring it to right about there. There we go. Now this is looking like the character it's supposed to look like. So, as you can see, now he's got that very squat, compact build that I wanted from the beginning. All right. And let me do, want to make sure his face appears to be kind of yeah, like that. I don't even know what I want to say, like kind of fatter at the bottom. He's got that strong jaw. Let's see. So now we're gonna put the sword in, or begin to put the sword in. Now I scribbled this line out here like this, but let's go ahead and make sure I do a. Okay, so I put that straight line is way down there, and his hand is way up there. I'll show you here. There you go. See, this is the hand where we want to put the blade through. And here's the other side of the other hand. So we want to make sure we're following that line. And what I just did doesn't follow that line at all. So, let's see. Let's say that this is over here. I keep hitting my button with my finger here. This is coming over here. Let's put it right about there. Now let's see how well that did. Yeah, I still missed it, but we're closer. Maybe we'll just do this on a new layer, right? Actually, there's an easier way. Okay. here's a line. And it's going from right there through the hands. There we go. And let's go back to this page, or this layer. I'm going to clear this out. Alright, so I've got the line now. That's for the sword. And I mean, you can kind of you probably get a good idea right now for just how big that sword really is in comparison to this character. Alright, so this is my Gnome Barbarian. Alright. Let's see, it is 12:30. I gotta get going here shortly. I'm gonna take a quick break, about like 5 minutes or so, and then we're gonna come back and we are gonna put uh, some of the details into this Gnome Barbarian. So stick around, I will be right back. Okay, I am coming back. Oop, wrong one. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my camera off for right now. There we go. We're just gonna focus on finishing out the drawing here, or well, at least we're gonna finish out some of the barbarian. I'm gonna have to get going real soon, and as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I'm going to try to be back streaming again today on schedule from 2 to 4 p.m. But that mainly depends on how things go today, whether or not I can actually do that. So let's go ahead and start with the torso here. Um, this barbarian character, he he's got. Let me see. I think this is probably the best example of his stuff. We've got the belt with the big, uh, basically like big rivets and little rivets. The brace. He's actually got two bracers, right? Yeah, he's got a bracer on each hand, same design pattern, and then he's got the furry underwear and the furry boots, or at least fur trimmed boots. And then they they are leather coming down the rest of the way. So let's go ahead and put his belt on him. And we're gonna shoot out on the line tool. That is my bad. Here we go. So the belt, I want to have it arcing upward a bit right here as it goes around the body. That should be good. And we might, let's see. I had to mute my mic for a second and had like something stuck in my throat. Had to cough real bad. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, we're putting the belt on here. Just get the general form first. Keep it kind of tight. And my eraser is way too big now. Let's go ahead and put the trim, this rolled edge. We're going to take that right on the outside of that form. I want to keep this belt pretty much as bulky as possible in this particular drawing. Now, this leg is like the muscle here would be coming up over that. And so, let's see, we'll go ahead and put this bit right here. There we go. Now I can clean all my little sketch marks right out of that line and out of this area. And down here. All right. Now we've got one big rivet here. I haven't been doing a whole lot of texture and shadowing and stuff on these drawings because I like to keep most of that like up to the person coloring the picture, which, being that this is a coloring book, or that's what it's intended to be. But I will kind of put a little something there to show that there is some form here. I'm gonna go ahead and put another big one right over here towards the edge. Now these aren't pointy like spikes, they are big round rivets. And then let's see, the next one would be over here. So that might even be too pointy where I did do that little bit of detail there. Maybe I ought to just kind of come right across the top with it, just like halfway. Do the same thing over here, just to suggest that little bit of form to it. And the last one, I'm going to put it where it's actually past the edge, just to save the space right there. And we're going to put the two little ones in here. They're literally just circles. There we go. Now we got that fancy leather battle belt that he's wearing. Now for his underwear piece here. Gotta make sure it actually covers everything like it's supposed to. The way he's coming in, if the little bit of overhang that we've got on it would be down there and like trailing back just a little bit. So we can clear out his groin lines and the edge of his leg over here. And I'll just kind of sketch in the furry trim edges of this. And sometimes I go one way, sometimes I go the other way. Just kind of randomize it a little bit so it's not completely uniform. Also, one of the things I should probably do today before I start my next stream is I should create like a be right back screen. It'll only take a minute to do. Something I hadn't really thought about before. I had my one for, in case I needed to do something before I started. It says it's starting momentarily, so I just went ahead and cut to that when I had to jump up and go take care of stuff real quick. Okay. So we've got his underwear in. Now for his boots. Now the first thing is you've got this boot, the big rounded part of it is going to be like right here. And so we're really not going to see most of that foot anyway. I'm going to go ahead and just put this fur trim right along here. Quickly sketching it all in. Now you're going to keep the hard lines here for the upper leg because that is in front of the boot. Okay. That's enough for now. These things will, like the little detail lines in here will be a lot easier to finalize when I'm doing the ink because I'll have my brush set to 100% opacity and 100% flow. So I won't be sketching, I'll literally just be putting down one solid line of whatever thickness. Well, actually, I'll maintain varied thickness, but that's another thing that I like to do is keep my line work a little bit dynamic. But anyway, when I put that stuff in, it's going to be smooth, pretty much like the reference sheet there where you can see it. All right, this other boot comes in right about here, and we're going to go ahead and leave a little bit of gap right there and maintain some thickness to it. and bring it around just like that. And for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and scribble this in real quick, like that. Maybe take some of that out. And because it does, this fur piece overlaps the leather of that rear boot, you'll keep the jagged edges here coming down to the toes. Now, I think I spread his toe out way too much over there, like where his little toe would be. Oops, hitting my button. There we go, and I'm just gonna kind of, on that dang button again. I should disable that. I don't ever really use the button on my pen, uh, so when I do hit it, it's usually just a mistake. Okay, now I do have this back bit of the leg that I put in here. Let's maintain, I want the ankle to have some thickness to it, and that's actually going to be like the back of the heel back there. I don't want it that high though, not quite that high. We'll get rid of that. So let's keep the ankle here. And I'll clear out these lines in here. And this one. Alright. I don't like that. That looks like it's twisted. But maybe this, no. Or maybe we'll just leave the ankle back here. And we'll get rid of this. Just get rid of that altogether. Of course, the other part of it is, well, let's see. Maybe reduce the angle of that. I could add more shadow there too, but I think that's less important. And I'm going to put another wrinkle in the foot right there. Maybe even flare that out just a bit right there. Okay, let's see how he's looking now. So, I think I like the way this is coming along. Let's see, all things considered, I want to maybe flare this outer thigh muscle just a bit more there. And let's see. Maybe bulk up the kneecap just a little bit more. And I think we want to drop that down a bit. Just tweaking the general form of this leg since it is such a big deal. Actually, I don't like that because then it's like this piece is like way like bursting out, and it's not supposed to be that prominent of a form. This makes it a little bit better. We'll just round that off a little bit. I mean, there should be some shape to it, I think. But there we go. I guess that's good. Maybe smooth that off a little bit too. Okay. Alright, next little detail. You couldn't see it in this reference that I was using, but let's go to like my original. You got that right there. And I've been putting it in the rest of these, whatever I remember to. Well, you know, I've been making sure to put it in there. He's got that little armband. Now, it actually wraps where the, let's see, how's this go? The armband wraps around right here at the top of his bicep. And it's actually like two rings, sort of, that, or it's one ring, but it's wrapped like twice, or 1.5 times. So the bottom piece loops around. And that's like right on the inside of his bicep, which would be like right, probably out of view in this scene. And then the top piece would actually wrap on the other end. So let's go ahead and let's see. So if that bottom piece was like right over there, you wouldn't even see it here. This would be wrapping around. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and leave it as like a simple ring. I think I changed my brush details here. Maybe not. Okay. Okay. So we've got that ring. Then we're gonna have the bracers, but I gotta get to the hands, and we gotta make sure his body's all good. So I'm just gonna finalize some of these lines right here. And I'm gonna have to wrap up this stream. And like I said, I'm gonna try to be back streaming again today. Well, it is that today now? I think so. Anyway, Friday, if it's not Friday already, um, streaming around 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And if that doesn't work out, I'll be here at some point for some amount of time, um, if I can. So there we go. Today we finished off the human wizard. We're putting in this gnome barbarian. And so when I get back, we're going to finish the gnome barbarian. And I think I'll probably just move right down the line. And let me show you right here. So now he's all covered with the scribbles and stuff. Or this character right here in the scribbles is my my goblin barbarian. So I have two barbarians in this setting, in this scene. Oh, and I'd turned my cameras off. I better turn those back on so I don't forget it later. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Uh, Again, I'll be back sometime today, hopefully between 2 and 4 p.m. or from 2 to 4 p.m. is the goal. And we will be finishing off this page, or not the whole page probably, but we will be finishing off the gnome, who I just turned off. There we go. We're gonna finish off that gnome barbarian and probably start the goblin barbarian and continue working throughout this page. So thanks for watching my stream. If you haven't already, please follow me and know that I will be slowly building up this stream setup as we go along. Thanks again. Bye.